Dodger Stadium has witnessed some of the most memorable and emotional moments in the history of Major League Baseball. But what happened inside that stadium last night was something that nobody, not the players, not the coaches, not the thousands of fans packed into every seat, and not the reporters who have covered this game for decades, was prepared to see. In the third inning of what was supposed to be a competitive but routine matchup between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Kansas City Royals, Bobby Witt Jr. savagely hit Shohei Ohtani in a moment so sudden, so violent, and so shocking that it triggered one of the most massive and explosive brawls that Dodger Stadium has ever witnessed. The video footage spread across every platform within minutes. The images were everywhere before the inning was even finished. And by the time the dust had settled and order had finally been restored on that field, the baseball world was already demanding answers about what triggered this incident, what consequences must follow, and what the future holds for the players at the center of one of the most disturbing scenes in recent baseball memory. What exactly did Bobby Witt Jr. do to Shohei Ohtani in that third inning? What caused the massive brawl that followed? And how did Ohtani and the Dodgers respond to one of the most shocking moments of the entire season? The full story will leave you completely stunned. To understand the full weight of what happened in that third inning, it is essential to understand the atmosphere that had been building between these two teams long before last night's first pitch was even thrown. The history between the Dodgers and the Royals this season had already been marked by tension, controversy, and a series of escalating incidents that had pushed emotions on both sides to a dangerous and volatile level. Sources close to the Dodgers confirmed that players had been aware of the mounting tension heading into this series. Several veterans on the roster had privately acknowledged among themselves that the matchup with Kansas City carried a different kind of energy this time around, a harder, more aggressive edge that everyone in the clubhouse could feel but nobody wanted to be the first to address publicly. By the time the game began, the atmosphere inside Dodger Stadium was already charged with an intensity that went far beyond the normal excitement of a regular season matchup. The crowd could sense it. The players could feel it. And the reporters covering the game from the press box described an unmistakable undercurrent of tension that made the air inside the stadium feel different from the very first inning. Then the third inning arrived. And everything exploded. According to multiple eyewitnesses and reporters stationed at field level, the incident began when Shohei Ohtani came to the plate in the bottom of the third inning with the Dodgers trailing by 1 run. The crowd rose to their feet as they always do when Ohtani steps into the batter's box, because when the greatest player in the world is holding a bat, every single person in the stadium knows that anything is possible. The Royals pitcher delivered the first pitch. Ohtani took it for a ball. The second pitch came in and Ohtani fouled it off with a sharp crack. The tension was building with every delivery. Then, before the third pitch could even be thrown, the situation changed in the most violent and unexpected way imaginable. Bobby Witt Jr., positioned at shortstop, made a sudden and aggressive move toward Ohtani that reporters described as completely unprovoked and utterly shocking in its ferocity. What Witt Jr. did in that moment, the specific and savage nature of his actions directed at Ohtani, sent a visible shockwave through every single person inside Dodger Stadium. Fans screamed. Players froze for a split second in disbelief. And then, like a dam breaking after enormous pressure, both benches erupted simultaneously and the massive brawl began. What followed was described by veteran reporters as one of the most chaotic and frightening scenes they had ever witnessed on a Major League Baseball field. Players came pouring out of both dugouts at full speed. Coaches sprinted onto the field. Bullpen players came running in from the outfield. Security personnel rushed from every corner of the stadium trying desperately to reach the center of the chaos before the situation could escalate any further. But it was already escalating. Rapidly. Dramatically. And in ways that nobody on that field could fully control. Freddie Freeman was among the very first Dodgers players to reach the scene. Those who watched the footage closely said that Freeman moved with a speed and urgency that made absolutely clear how seriously he was taking the threat to his teammate. Freeman later told reporters that the moment he saw what Witt Jr. did to Ohtani, every instinct he had as a teammate took over completely. He said there was no thinking involved. There was only reacting, and his reaction was to get to Ohtani as fast as humanly possible and make sure that his teammate was protected. Freeman said that what he witnessed in that moment was something he had never seen directed at any player in his entire professional career. He said that the level of aggression shown by Witt Jr. toward Ohtani was completely beyond the boundaries of anything that could be justified, by competitive intensity, by in-game emotion, or by any other explanation that anyone could possibly offer. Mookie Betts, speaking to reporters after the game with an emotion in his voice that he made no attempt to hide, revealed exactly what was happening inside the Dodgers dugout in the moments before the brawl erupted. Betts said that several players had already been on edge throughout the first 2 innings, that the body language and aggressive energy coming from the Royals' side of the field had been noticeable and concerning well before the incident in the 3rd inning actually occurred. Betts said that when Witt Jr. made his move toward Ohtani, the entire Dodgers dugout reacted as one. There was no hesitation. No discussion. Every single player moved at the same moment because every single player understood immediately that their teammate, their leader, needed them right now. Betts said that the solidarity and unity that the Dodgers showed in that moment was something he was genuinely proud of, even in the middle of such a disturbing and frightening situation. Betts also spoke about Ohtani directly, about the kind of person and player he is and about what it meant to every member of that team to see him targeted in such a savage and unjustifiable way. He said that Ohtani brings so much to this team every single day, not just with his performance on the field but with his character, his work ethic, his professionalism, and his genuine care for every person in that clubhouse. Betts said that watching someone like that get targeted the way Ohtani was targeted last night was something that every Dodger took deeply and personally. It took umpires and security personnel nearly 10 full minutes to restore complete order on the field, an extraordinarily long time that speaks to just how explosive and widespread the brawl had become. When the dust finally settled and the ejections were announced, the list was long on both sides. Bobby Witt Jr. was immediately ejected. Multiple other players from both teams received ejections as well. And the official review process was set in motion almost immediately, with Major League Baseball announcing that a full investigation into the incident would begin without delay. Manager Dave Roberts, standing at the podium for his post-game press conference, delivered one of the most direct and forceful statements that reporters who cover the Dodgers could remember hearing from him. Roberts said that what happened to Ohtani in the 3rd inning tonight was an absolute disgrace, his words, spoken without hesitation and without diplomatic softening of any kind. He said that Bobby Witt Jr.'s actions were savage, unjustifiable, and completely beneath the standards of professional baseball. Roberts said that the Dodgers organization was already in contact with the commissioner's office and that they were demanding the strongest possible disciplinary response from Major League Baseball. He said that anything less than a severe and meaningful suspension would be an insult to Ohtani, to the Dodgers, and to every player and fan who loves and respects this game. The reaction that poured in from across the baseball world throughout the night was overwhelming in its scale and its unanimity. Former players, current stars, managers, analysts, and fans from every corner of the sport flooded social media with messages of support for Ohtani and messages of condemnation directed at Witt Jr. and anyone else involved in instigating the incident. Multiple Hall of Fame players called for an immediate and lengthy suspension. Several prominent voices in the sport said that what happened at Dodger Stadium last night represented one of the darkest moments in recent baseball history and demanded a response from the league that matched the seriousness of what had occurred. International media, particularly in Japan, where Ohtani is not just a sports star but a national icon, covered the story with a level of intensity and emotion that underscored just how global the impact of this incident truly was. Even within the Royals organization, the fallout was significant. Several Royals players, speaking carefully but clearly to reporters after the game, made no effort to defend or justify what Witt Jr. had done. One veteran Royals player, speaking anonymously, said simply that what happened tonight should not have happened, and that everyone in their clubhouse knew it. Royals manager Matt Quatraro faced the most difficult press conference of his tenure managing the club. He struggled visibly as reporters pressed him repeatedly for a clear and unequivocal condemnation of his players' actions. While Quatraro acknowledged that the situation had escalated far beyond what anyone wanted and expressed regret about the outcome, his responses were widely criticized as insufficient given the severity of what had taken place on the field. Inside the Dodgers clubhouse after the game, despite the anger and the emotion that filled every corner of the room, there was also something powerful and unifying present. The team had stood together. They had protected their own. And now, in the quiet aftermath of one of the most turbulent nights of the season, they were reminded of exactly what they meant to each other. Freeman addressed the team briefly before anyone left the clubhouse. Players who were present said his words were simple, direct, and deeply felt. He said that tonight reminded every single one of them why they play for each other every single day. He said that Ohtani is their brother, and that nobody would ever come after their brother without facing the full and united response of this entire Dodgers team. As for Shohei Ohtani, the man at the center of the storm, he was examined by the Dodgers medical staff immediately following the incident. The team confirmed that he had been evaluated and that a full update on his condition would be provided in the coming days. Manager Roberts declined to share specific details about Ohtani's physical state but made absolutely clear that the organization's #1 priority was the health, safety, and well-being of their star player. Ohtani himself spoke briefly through his interpreter, thanking his teammates for their immediate and unwavering support. He said that the unity of this team was something that meant everything to him, and that moments like this, as painful and disturbing as they were, only strengthened the bond between every person in the Dodgers clubhouse. But those who looked closely at Ohtani's expression as he spoke those words saw something unmistakable burning behind his eyes. Something focused. Something fierce. Something that told the entire baseball world, without a single word being spoken, that Shohei Ohtani was going to respond to what happened to him tonight in the only language that has ever truly mattered. On the field. With his performance. On his terms. The baseball world will be watching very, very closely. Thank you for watching. What do you think about Bobby Witt Jr.'s savage actions and the massive brawl that erupted at Dodger Stadium? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting and up-to-date baseball news.